And as we pick up the driver coming in to the main straight right now, this is the Queen Bee machine of young Carlin Bailey, your current series leader. This guy has been faultless so far during this series. The boat is number 321, Queen Bee, the boat owned by Tracy Pugsley. Up there, the Princess of Dargle. Well, the Queen of Dargle is Tracy. She campaigned this boat herself over many, many years and won everything there was to be won. And young Carlin Bailey, when he's not racing one of these boats, he's playing a pretty serious game of football. As the young fella is being watched on by his father, Craig Bailey, here this weekend. Super fast in this boat is Carlin Bailey, and currently holding down position 1 on the leaderboard. Bud Light Racing, good to see this young Victorian gun here with us. Young Meads, so the son of Dave Meads out there. His brother's also racing in the junior category. Jack Meads piloting the Bud Light machine here with this weekend. He's up against a pretty tough competition in the likes of Maxi Cook that just rolls through here down into turn number 1. The man from up there on the Hawkesbury River. Cook Family Fencing is his major supporter. Big shout out to the Cook family. Marty and Jules, they have dragged their kids all over the country for many, many years in support of their passion. And Max has really found his feet in this F4 in this last series, in fact. Had a first hit out last year, but really starting to come on strong and find his way to the front of the field. It was tear in the eye in the commentary box when Maxie won his first race. The crowd went wild, and expect big things from him here this weekend. Boat number 24, the all-white machine of Tyler Gilligan. This is one of the epic racing machines. I think I wasn't 100% sure. They've got, I think, 3 boats campaigning here this weekend. We saw Stephen Gilligan, dad in the Formula GP, the Epic R Marine machine. Tyler is out there doing the work in the F4 right now. Beautiful to see some local sponsorship on board. So big shout out to Yarrawonga 4x4. Your ARB Super Centre up here in Yarrawonga. So Mikey Johnson, thank you. I think that's Mikey Johnson's business. So well done to Yarrawonga 4x4 for getting behind this young gun Ty as we watch him just drift that boat nicely, settles it through turn number 1. Let's take a second to talk about these F4s because they are an international category. They are an incredibly challenging boat to drive. They're powered by a Mercury Racing 60 horsepower EFI 4-stroke engine. Every engine in the category is identical, so no modifications permitted to the engine. They take it to the next level, the engine management system. It's controlled by a computer ECU or electronic control module. The AFPGP has a bank of those units, so the drivers are randomly allocated an ECU at the start of each weekend. So they're numbered and they're allocated it, so therefore they're not able to hack the program, if you like, and jump in and change the RPM settings or the fuel mapping. So completely standard powerhead. The hulls have a minimum standardised weight. I think from memory, 350 kilos total weight is the weight of an F4 when it's out there rolling around. And what it does is it teaches these young campaigners to actually drive the boat as cleanly as possible, and that is a beautiful example of that. I'm trying to pick up who that is. Yeah, that's Carlin Bailey, boat 321. I think we had him in shot there. See the Queen Bee machine. So when you've got limited horsepower, you can't use the right foot. So the big stomp on the pedal has very little yield. So you really have to flow the boat and reduce the amount of energy that you're taking out of it in through these corners. You've got to pick the breeze and get the boat hanging on exactly the right angle so you're getting the right amount of air to lift the tunnel. And as we watch Carlin through that back straight, very, very quick right now. You can see the boat, the sponsons or the pickle fork, the nose of the boat just in the air. A nice clean wash behind the boat. So very little rooster tail. So getting good prop drive. It's a good indicator when you see a lot of rooster behind the back of the boat is that they're actually aerating the propeller maybe a little bit too much and not getting the forward momentum. So the propeller's got a bit of slip. It looks very nice on a flying lap around there is Carlin Bailey. As is Jack Meads, that beautiful yellow and blue Bud Light machine picking up a lap. We'll watch him now into turn number 1. A lot less experience in this boat, but just stepped out of the junior J3 categories and and the Meads Family Racing, the support of Leisure Sports Marine down there in Dramana, Victoria, putting this boat together and doing a really good job. He drives this very hard, this young fella, so he's always on the ragged edge. A little bit like his dad, in fact, and his younger brother, Harry, but looking really nice in the back chute there. So you can see Carlin, who's the series leader, making no ground at all. So boat speed is good. Now, remembering, same thing, propeller selection is going to be critical. This is the first look they've had at this course, and not a lot of time in practice to potentially make a propeller change for these teams. So they want to ideally roll it out of the box. They've been given the briefing prior to the event as to the length and shape of this course. So essentially just trying to make the right choice here, but beautiful corner there from both these two. You can see just the way these little tunnels just drifting on that cushion of air. That is full throttle all the way around the corner and letting it roll through. So we'll wait for the, it won't be too long before we'll go into timed laps. I'm waiting for the call from John Fowler. Won't be too far away when practice finishes and we go into time. So 6 minutes of timed, 6 minutes to go in practice. 12 minutes to go in practice, there you go, sorry. It's early morning for a commentator, Jono, thank you. You're being clear, it's me, don't worry, it's all me. Maxie Cook, maxed out. The kid from up north, Lifeline, on board, as long as Cook Fencing as his major sponsors this weekend. Real quiet young fella. Got a lot of time for Maxie. I've watched him come up through the J1, J2, J3 category, and also sister Macca. Good big shout to Mac Attack. She'll be watching on. She raced this boat as well for a little while, but Max has really found a lot of comfort inside the canopy. So looking very, very nice out there. This is perfect conditions for these Formula boats. The breeze is absolutely what they want, and look at that for a drag race. Interestingly, Bud Light on the outside, maybe with one or maybe about a mile an hour in straight line boat speed, but Carlin Bailey obviously a little bit quicker through the corner, so maybe half a pitch in propeller difference between those two. So the lower pitch propeller, meaning essentially a lower gearing, giving him a little bit better acceleration. Remember, Carlin's had a lot more experience in this category, slightly older than Jack Meads, but this is exactly what Jack wants to do. Sit right on the wash of the boat in front of him and watch the lines, because this is a learning category. As I mentioned, it's an international category, therefore campaigned all around the world. So you can buy yourself a ticket, go to Europe, jump in exactly the same kind of boat, and campaign anywhere in the world. Some incredible Australian talent has done so. There's a whole lot of drivers, and actually even some drivers here with us that have campaigned on the international circuit and had a lot of success. So the Australian category very, very strong, and four of the best here with us this weekend. So clock ticks down in practice. You can see the crew chiefs here looking on. They've got the stopwatches out as Ty Gilligan, Yarrawonga 4x4 centre on board boat number 24, the Epic Racing Machine. Looks very good as well. Had a moment actually last time out, which was pretty tough on the young kid, but shook it off. A lot of work for the crew to get that boat back and running again. As I said, these are very high technology 4-stroke EFI racing engines. So got a boat slowing in the back chute, which is Bud Light Racing actually. So in the back straight there, that's Harry Meads. Now maybe looking at a practice start. So he's come right off the plane in the back straight. So the boat's still making headway. You can see the little wash behind the boat. So yeah, maybe a practice start there from young Jack Meads in the back chute as the clock starts to tick down. Should be about 9 minutes to run, I think, on this one. So we'll be under 10 minutes in this one. So we'll, interesting enough, I haven't seen any crews come back in for prop changes. I see Craig Bailey starting to get motivated down here. So might be time to bring young Carlin Bailey in and have a quick look at it. Obviously, straight after this, they've got to go to their qualifying. So really not a lot of time for them to make a change, get a couple of laps in, see if they've made gains, and then go out and throw down their qualifying lap. In a controlled horsepower category, pole is a big, big advantage. We've got great to see so many people jumping in on the live stream here for this Friday qualifying sessions. Big shout out to everybody. Send us through your messages. Will Phillips from Michigan, USA. G'day, mate. Great to have you on board. As I mentioned, the GP Hydro live streaming taking this to the world. Skeet Lawson's on board as well. And yes, Rob, qualifying's coming up very, very shortly. So F4 qualifying, and then we're going to move into our Formula GP qualifying. Split into two groups for the qualifying, but then race number 1 tomorrow morning is going to see all 18 boats get out there and hit this beautiful Lake Mulwala circuit. We're on the border of New South Wales and Victoria here in Australia this weekend. Over 91 entries for this festival of powerboat racing this weekend, and it's going to be bigger than Ben-Hur. With just one boat on the water now, you can, if you sit quietly, you can really hear the revs of these little 60 EFIs. So revving up, I think the rev limit on these is set nearly 7,000 RPM on these race version of these engines. So 4-stroke technology. They use about 4 litres of fuel all weekend. So incredibly reliable as far as a racing package, which is one of the reasons for their selection. But also very, very fast. These boats are topping 70-odd miles an hour, so well over 115, 120 kilometres an hour. Because they're quiet and they're small, it doesn't necessarily look like it. Ty Gilligan taking a little bit of a bite, so running a different line that time through, and it's a really good thing to practice because depending on how you go off your start, you may find yourself in pole 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, it's one thing to be able to run your own line of choice around a corner, but it's also another thing to practice an alternate line should you have a boat to your inside and outside. So he's got great racecraft, this young fella. I've watched him race through the junior categories and make some really good decisions on the water. As I said, you can throw a blanket over this field. In fact, as far as that goes, there's not one of them that hasn't come up through the Formula Junior rankings here in Australia, and we'll see some of our legendary Formula futures. I think tomorrow they're going to get out there and give it a red hot go for you. So clock continues to tick down, and then we will move into our qualifying session. There is a hive of activity out in the Formula GP pit, so downloading all their information from their practice runs. Propellers being debated because after that they are straight out. When that flag drops, if you're not on the water, you do not get a qualifying time. So the crew in the timing tower will be working overtime. We will bring you some unofficial timing numbers from up here in the tower to try and get a read, but I can tell you from that early session, Sam Lucas in the Marine Jacksons, Lucas Tree Services look fast. Paul Sane, I think, is going to frighten a few people. But you cannot look past the likes of a Hadley Deegan in Deegan Marine, or actually, to be honest, any of the top 10 for this qualifying shootout. This course is going to really reward pole number 1. That hard left-hander in that first lap is really going to spread the field. I think boats 11 through to 18 will be sent around the checkered splitter buoy out there. So you want to get inside that top 10. So 5 minutes of practice, I think, still remaining before we go qualifying. In this F4 category, Tyler Gilligan just lapping and lapping and lapping out there in the VO24. These are young guys. I think Ty maybe 16 years old. So obviously had a big moment, boat upside down. So shakes the confidence a bit, and it's great to see him coming back so strongly. Got a lot of support. Both of his sisters racing, dad racing, mum team managing, grandma, grandpa, the whole Gilligan clan. There's 6,000 of them here this weekend. Big shout out to all of them. So much flatter, tighter line that time through. So hugging the pins. Interesting, obviously, the lap times will be being taken down here by the crew. So just experimenting with the fast line through this track. So for those of you watching at home, not with us, we're looking at about a 750 metre front straight away. It's around an 80-metre arc on these boys, 75 to 80-metre arc around the turn. And then you've got a long haul with about another 800 metres out. A triangular style, of course, but a compressed triangle. So the turn number 2 that Tyler's making his way to right now is almost a 90-degree left-hander. So that's going to certainly sort the wheat from the chaff when we go starting. So canopy lid pop, so that's he's just eased off the pace a little bit. That is a signal to race control too. So if you see that out there, that if a boat is to stop, the canopy lid is popped, which is a signal to race control that I'm okay on board the boat, and then the lid is then re-secured to ensure that driver safety remains paramount. It won't be too bad in the cockpits of these boats today, but I can tell you I've been at events where it's upwards of 35, 38, nearly 40 degrees, and the drivers do it pretty tough in their race suits in these carbon fibre cockpits. So Ty just coming past the crowd to give you a really good look at the Yarrawonga 4x4 machine of epic racing. Great kid, big smile. Big shout to MSC Signs as well as DTG Products for supporting Ty Gilligan and Epic Racing here with us this weekend. Great to see so many of you logging on to GP Hydro live streaming. Keep your eye out, tell your friends that, that the big show is happening. I'm joined back up here in the commentary box by my good mate Vaughan Brewer, who's been out in pit lane, mate. How's the level of excitement down there?
I've been able to catch up with some of the drivers in the National Drivers' Championship, and we've done some interviews which you'll see on GP Hydro live streaming throughout the telecast. And yeah, we've learned a few little bits and pieces about the drivers. It's been great.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. The energy down there, there's like that nervous energy. It's a bit like thoroughbred racehorses before a Melbourne Cup. That there's quiet confidence. There's next window, you are going to get pole number 1 when we go racing a little bit later on tomorrow morning. So
this is an 8-minute session.
An 8-minute session on the schedule. So I'm going to put the clock on the first boat around. So Maxi Cook. So let's try and get a run time. These boats capable of about 75 miles an hour. And Maxi Cook has been finding some serious speed. We pick him up into turn number 1 now. He's running a nice wide line through there. So trying not to blow off too much boat speed, Vaughan, as he picks the nose of the boat up into the straight. So this little puff of breeze is perfect conditions for an F4. Now, a bit of a wobble in Maxi Cook's boat in the back straight. So you can see what we call porpoising. You can see it in the wash as the spray behind the boat. Now, that's losing boat speed. What he's done is he's trimmed the nose of the boat too high. He's got too much air, so it blows the prop out. The nose of the boat drops again. So you want to just have it hanging there. He's very nice through turn number 2 over at the Mulwalis Water Ski Club side, a sponsor here with this weekend as he rolls into turn number 3. Is he going to run a tighter line or is he going to let it drift out wide? So he's going to choose to run a tight line. So we're just going 50 seconds for Maxi Cook as he rolls through this time round. So we'll try and get a read. This is, of course, unofficial commentary box timing up here. And Maxi Cook now, so he's gone about a 1:02 for Maxi Cook. So nice, clean run for the Cookster. Let's have a look at series leader, Carlin Bailey this time through. Boat number 321. We start the clock.
Yeah, Carlin Bailey heading down into turn number 2 at the moment, and as Andrew was giving us a great explanation about all the nuances with these formula boats or tunnel boats as they're referred to, these ones underpowered when you're talking about an F1 or an unlimited tunnel. So maybe keeping that wider line and to keep the revs up, keep the momentum, and you're moving forward all the time.
That's exactly right. So you've really got to make that decision. Now, this turn 2 that Carlin's coming into now, that's a 90-degree left-hander. It doesn't look like it on the camera angle or where you are from the bank. So you see, has to slam the boat down, get the boat turned, and straight away you can see the arc in the rooster. So he's hard on the trim to get the nose of the boat up. They will be full throttle all the way around this course, just using the trim now. Watch Carlin here. So see how he dances that boat around, Vaughan. Big wide line. So this is going to be a very quick lap time. This is our current series leader, the kid from up there in New South Wales. So I'm going to put that down at around a 1:01. So
1 second quicker.
Yeah, so maybe a second up on Maxi Cook. So that's a very, very nice, clean one that time through from Carlin Bailey. He has a habit of doing that, puts a fast early one in and then settles in and starts experimenting.
I love the name of Maxi Cook's boat, Maxed Out.
Maxed Out, yeah. It used to, I think when Michaela ran the boat, it was Mac Attack, and yeah, they're very clever on their names. Obviously, Dad, very experienced hydroplane racer, Marty Cook. Let's have a look at Bud Light Racing. Jack Meads. Start the clock on the little Meadinator This beautiful boat, less experience, this young fella, than the rest of the field out there, but has come on leaps and bounds. So he's aggressive into turn one there, Vaughan.
Yeah, as we said, it's a three, almost a 3 point.
He's hooked the boat in mid-corner. So we'll stop that lap time because that will have cost him 3 or 4 seconds then. So
really hooked the boat in there. The boat just wanted to keep turning left. As he gets it back under control now and heads out towards turn number 3.
Now, Ty Gilligan coming across back to pit lane, so something not right on board Ty Gilligan. And just thinking about it, we're missing one boat.
Yeah, could
so
be.
Tyler went around down in the bottom corner as well, so he's come back in.
Is it Lockie Bride that's missing?
Lockie Bride, the Phantom. Now, he's currently sitting second this series. We saw him, he had a drama with his steering gear. So the crew will be over there working flat out to try and get that boat back together to get this kid out there, or he's going to qualify out of pole 5. 3.5 laps. 3.5 minutes to go. Meads goes through, so he's looking to improve this time round.
Was that a 101 last time for Meads?
I didn't get a time on Meadsy, so we watch him through now. See, he's got the inside sponson very flat. This is where it hooked, so caught a bit of crosswash. You see he lifted it a little bit there, so that's smart from that young guy. He's picked up the inside sponson because that's where it caught on the exit of that corner, and the boat looking very, very quick in the back, so there's no wobble. It's just perched there beautifully. Not too much angle on the nose, so that boat driving forward. We'll watch him now into turn number 2, the double yellows on the Mulwala Water Ski Club side. Slams the boat down hard. Actually, no, he's left it a little bit wide, so running that little bit more exit pace, Vaughan, as he pulls it into turn number 3.
And one thing that we didn't pick up on earlier this morning, or let our viewers know, not every lap is going to be the same. Water conditions are going to change lap after lap. We get a lot of traffic out there. We get a lot of chop.
And this looks very good for Meadsy as well. So, yeah, nice run there. So I've got him in right on the heels of, actually almost splitting Max Cook and Carlin Bailey right now. I'm going to pick up another time on Carlin this time through.
That boat's looking really settled as it comes out.
That's very fast through there. So he's got really good run onto this front straight. So, and it does mean all the difference. That air coming straight onto the nose of the boat right now. So breeze from right to left of screen. If you're watching on GP Hydro live streaming from around the world, watch him into turn number 1, Vaughan.
As Carlin going down into turn number 1, just drops the trim down a tad, and another one just on the entry on the second part of the corner. Now sets it up for the run down the back straight here, and as Andrew said, that boat is just sitting beautifully at the moment. None of the porpoising action that we've seen by the previous boats. It's nice and flat with just the nose out of the water and only probably 8 inches of water making contact with underneath that hull as we pick up on Jack Meads in Bud Light coming across the line, and that boat looked a little bit higher out of the water, but it's not porpoising.
No, that's nicely balanced there. And that little headwind, great. Tyler Gilligan back on the water, so joins the circuit. So we watch Bailey now. He's coming through. He was in the 101s when he was early on, so we're just gone 52 seconds as he brings it straight. He's very fast on the exit that time too. I like that line. I really do. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, he's gone sub 1 minute that time round. Unofficially, 59.9 for Carlin Bailey.
And Carlin running second in the championship, did you say, Andrew?
Currently leading.
Oh, leading the championship.
Currently leading. It's actually Lockie Bride, the man not on the water, currently sitting in second. So, yes, so Carlin Bailey leading the championship. Lockie Bride is standing down in front of us, Vaughan Brewer, so we will not see the chaser in the championship. We'll get him up here in the commentary box, maybe with us. Let's have a look this time round. I want to see Tyler Gilligan's numbers. So let's start the clock on Ty Gilligan. Yarrawonga 4x4 on board the Epic Race Machine. Boat number 24 down into turn number 1. Watch him through here, Vaughnie.
It's starting to get a little bit windy out there as they head down towards turn number 1. And I suppose the headwind in with an F4, it's going to make a big difference to your terminal speed down into turn number 1.
Certainly does, and it also means that you've got differing conditions. So less trim required in the front straight because you've got that additional 5-6 kilometres an hour of breeze coming under the boat. But in this back straight, you've got it coming over your right-hand rear shoulder. So you've actually got to carry more trim because there's less available wind. You're running with the wind. This is quite a challenging wind angle, and it's probably playing a part to those couple of errors in the back part of turn number 1 because the waves are directly beam on there. They're not big waves, but again, these are super sensitive little race boats. Tyler Gilligan looking very nice so far. So tight on the apex, but lets the boat drift around. So he's gone 53, 55 seconds right now. So this is going to be a good run from Ty Gilligan. Missed a little bit of time, so let's have a quick look at him. So he's around the 101, 102. Settle it down, Measy. We'll try and get a lap time on him this time through. No, I've missed that one. So that was, again, right on the money for Ty Gilligan in around that 101. So
Jack Meads in the Bud Light boat looked really quick as he went down into turn number 1. Unfortunately, we're not getting a time for him in this lap, but you can see trying to overhaul that boat in front. Now, I would guess that this would be just like normal circuit racing with a car. You need to have a little bit of space between you and your fellow competitors so that you don't get impeded during a quick 8-minute session.
That's exactly right. Now, there's an interesting thing, an interesting scenario in this low horsepower racing is that obviously the water, we talked about specific gravity of water, and what I mean by that is the density, right? How much salt, how much mineral there is in the water. We all know if you swim in the ocean, you float more than you do if you swim in a freshwater lake. It's literally the buoyancy of the water. Now, there's a theory with these smaller boats that sitting in the turbulent wash just behind one of these boats, so just off to the side in the aerated wash, actually helps aerate underneath the hull. So you will see that sometimes, drivers sitting one boat wide and about 3 boat lengths back to try and actually maximise that